You're listening to the Ecosystem Approach show. I'm Jason.
And I'm Patricia.
We discovered that human potential is severely limited when you program humans like a machine, which is standard practice today for self-improvement.
The Ecosystem Approach teaches you how to uncover your infinite potential by using natural methods that are truly revolutionary. Join us now for the Ecosystem Approach show. Now is the time in 2026 for astrologers to evolve, innovate, and create the next generation of astrology. Bashar, Abraham, and Seth were talking to us on Earth over 60 years ago to create our own reality. And now, in 2026, all is possible using the ecosystem approach. Jason, yeah, that's quite a mouthful.
It is.
What is the Astrologers 2026 wake-up call?
We're on this amazing journey where we're going to take you to the next evolution of astrology.
Yes.
Now, if you're an astrologer, an astrology buff, emotionally empathic, or just someone who's interested in all things subtle energy, you'll love this innovative ideas. If you're listening for the first time, we're going to bring you up to date.
Okay.
And tell the story.
Okay.
But this is a big deal. Now, we're not astrologers.
No.
We make no claims to be astrologers in any way. No. And frankly, we'll talk about it in some of the other segments. But
okay.
I think we've done better as a result, and I'm going to tell you why.
Well, I want to go ahead. I apologize.
We're getting ahead of ourselves. So let's talk about the story. Okay. So there was. We do this every morning. We get together and we talk, and we've been doing a lot of channeling.
Yes.
We've channeled Bashar, Abraham, and Seth, but this was the first time we said. I'm saying to Patricia, well, let's see. We've talked about Bashar, Abraham, and Seth, and we've known about them for years.
Yes.
But I just said, okay, well, why don't we talk to them?
Well, and Jason said, Patricia, do you think you can talk to him? And I said, well, let's try. Well, so we started channeling, and it was so amazing. It was so quiet. It was actually a very peaceful, calm, almost gray day. And the reason I'm describing that is that it was cool outside and it was warm warm inside. And so I sat down, and I like to touch Jason oftentimes when I'm channeling. It just helps ground me. And I said, Bashar, Abraham, and Seth, would you be willing to talk to me? And I kind of just left it at that. And then I heard, yes, we've been waiting for you. And I sucked in my breath and went, what? Excuse me, could you say that again? And it was even more clear.
And I remember you asked, who is this?
I did.
And we always do that. We try and validate, verify.
Exactly, because we've had other
people jump in. Entities jump in.
Yes. In fact, more now than ever before. But so the second time, we've been waiting for you, I said, Jason, you're not going to believe this. This is what they said. And he said, well, then ask them why. Why have you been waiting for us? And they said very clearly, you have the missing piece. And I said, what do you mean, what's the missing piece? And by the way, I want you all to know, I was taking this missing piece for granted. I truly was. I just accepted it for the way I was understanding it. And they said, you have an understanding of the dark energy, the negative energy, and how it works, and has made itself a part of our world.
And has prevented our universal evolution.
Exactly. And I said, just like this, do you mind explaining that? I understand what you're saying, but could you explain it?
Well, and
they did, by the way.
The backstory of all of this is that we've been doing this for 25 years, but for the most part, we've had great results with individuals, and they say, "Oh yeah, I've changed and whatnot." A lot of people, we haven't. I mean, it's not that we help them, but
Right.
they weren't excited about it, and they eventually fell off, that sort of thing.
Right.
We didn't get any sort of validation about what we were doing.
Right.
There's no one out there today that we know of that could say, "Oh my gosh, look at what these people are doing. Oh my gosh, this is something special."
Well, I'm going to disagree because I had a client the other day, really. And by the way, I've had this client, worked with this client for definitely close to 20 years. I'm going to say a good 15. And he was really validating what we've been doing and especially doing with the channeling and how it's made a difference for him and his wife. And it is so amazing to me that, you work with someone for 15 years, I'll call it that, and then they tell you.
Well, it's
kind of cool, actually.
We've had that kind of validation before.
Right.
It's just there's no quote unquote authority or
No.
highly evolved people, and
No.
a lot of our metaphysical heroes.
Yes.
We've always looked at them and said, well, we can see that that's not
Correct.
that was marketing. That wasn't necessarily from evolution.
Right.
So to have, it was Abraham, right? He was
That
talking.
is correct. The first one.
And he had
Yes.
that James Earl Jones voice, didn't
Yeah.
he? I think that's kind of,
Yeah.
you have the missing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But if you think about it, how else was I going to
Perceive, understand.
and actually say, listen? That would be the best way for me to say it, because I've heard, and we'll talk about this another time. I've heard from the other side all of my life. Let me just say it that way.
So
I
this
didn't
is-
really know, but let's go back. I want to go back
to
into
the story about you're
absolutely.
going to change the future. How?
Exactly. And here's the ironic thing to me. About 2 weeks after we did the first clearing, and we've been waiting for you. I mean, it was a topic of discussion for a couple of weeks for sure, and main topic. And then it was kind of the same type of day, and I went back in, and it was so incredible. There were so many things there. Sorry. I said, are you willing to talk to us, Bashar, Abraham, and Seth? And Seth said to me, if I remember correctly, yes, I'm more than willing to talk to you because you're going to change the future. And I went, excuse me? I'm sorry. What? What are you talking about? How is this going to happen? And there was a little bit of a pause. And then this voice said, by teaching others how to evolve and use subtle energy in their daily lives. And it took me a second, because Jason and I have used the ecosystem approach in our daily life for the last 25 years or more now. And we didn't realize the value of what we had.
We didn't. They told us about the light that they could see from
Yes.
us.
Well, and I had forgotten about that. I asked them, why are you talking to me? And I didn't ask it the first time, but I did ask it the second time. Why are you talking to me? And they said, we can see your light from where we are. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Because you've been using this energy process, we can see your light, and many others can see your light as well.
On the other side.
On the other side.
And the problem's always been not on this side, not on what we might in the physical dimension.
Right.
So the truth is, and I want to say this, we love astrology. I love astrology, and I've been looking at it off and on for the last 30, 40 years.
Right.
And I've always known its validity. But when I first studied it in the 80s, I got to the point where I was looking at contradictory aspects, and I felt stuck and frustrated because there wasn't a clear path forward for me to resolve the contradictions.
Right.
And for me, the greatest struggles in astrology were it was too complicated. Where do you start? Where do you focus? What's important? And
if you're
what is
looking for an answer today,
Yeah,
how do I find that?
what is important in the particular moment?
Right.
So this is what we see for the next generation of astrology.
Exactly. So, Jason, what is it that you see for the next generation of astrology?
The primary function would not be predictions or compatibility. The primary function is using planetary energies,
Yes.
including sun, moon, and local asteroids, comets, for physical and emotional healing.
Yes.
All those planets have subtle energies. It's roughly analogous to when we channeled Jane Goodall.
Yes.
And she talked about the chimps having personalities, and science said, no, that can't be right. No, you can't do that. You lose your objectivity. No. But we see that these subtle energies are attached to everything.
Yes.
And we did a whole series of shows
Right.
channeling the planets.
Correct.
And looking at their personalities and talking to them. And oh my gosh, this is the breakthrough, is that by knowing their personalities, you can see how to use that energy in ways that are appropriate for you.
Well, can I just jump in and say,
Yeah.
I can't resist. When you figure out how to use the personalities of the sun, the moon, the
Saturn, Jupiter,
all the planets,
Venus,
absolutely.
yes.
Then for each day when the planets are in alignment in a particular
Aspects, the aspects.
of it, then you can choose which aspects you use, which energy you use for your day, or how to look at something.
And we're going to talk some more about that going forward.
We are. So, Jason, what is the summary of this segment?
This is a wake-up call for astrologers, empaths, and those interested in subtle energies. It's to use power and energy from the planets to change the world and help individuals evolve.
Yes.
The way it used to, it's used today is for prediction and compatibility and timing, seems like a missed opportunity from an evolved perspective. This year is the time for astrology to evolve. Oh my gosh.
In the next segment, we're going to talk about the next generation of astrology. We'll take you on a journey to see the real power with astrology that hasn't been used in a way it was intended. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Network. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to talk about the next generation of astrology. Okay, we'll take you on a journey to see the real power with astrology that hasn't been used in the way it was intended. What do you see, Jason, for the next generation of astrology?
Using planetary energies can turn astrology upside down. The current focus on predictions doesn't make sense to me from an evolved perspective. It's a misunderstanding of the energy of free will. Personal evolution today is difficult. It's hard. Free will is a powerful energy that's been diluted by astrology predictions. In other words, when you feel like you know,
Okay.
why should you say, no, I want this? If you see astrology is taking you over here by the predictions, and you say, no, I want this, based on a true understanding of your purpose and intention. A lot of people say, I want to go over here based on ego. That's got dark energy. It's not the one that you should. Yeah. But from an authentic place, if you're saying, I'm going here,
right,
and now you, instead of looking at the predictions, which can be confusing, contradictory,
and also leave a form of I don't believe that,
or hopeless.
There you go.
I've told a lot of people about some of the things that are happening and they go, "Oh my gosh, well, how do I defend myself?"
Exactly.
Which is not the way to do it.
Yeah.
So I think astrologers have missed the point in 2026, and we've seen some of the suggestions. I made a list here. Navigate the fog with intuition. Well, first of all, we're not evolved enough to really have intuition the way it should be. There are a lot of people. The people I'm talking to now, astrologers and empaths, they have intuition. But I know Patricia's been intuitive all her life. It's exploded since we've been doing the ecosystem approach.
Yes.
It's not just a little bit, it's huge.
Yes. I'll agree. I'll agree.
And it keeps going for both of us.
Exactly. And it can be overwhelming, absolutely. But when you have the ecosystem approach, what it does is when you see something, feel something, know something, you can then take a breath, put your feet on the ground, and remove negative energy that's keeping you from the clarity about what you see. Oh, I mean, have you ever had that before? Most people never have.
Well, and that intuition helped me write this statement, okay?
Okay.
And it's just today, okay?
And it's this.
It's the beginning. 2026 is the beginning of Earth's evolution. Now, what
Yeah.
we know, one of the things we've been talking about for a long time is that it's not evolving.
No.
The last 100 years, the last 200 years, there have been some major technological improvements.
Amazing.
Which we confuse with evolution, but it's not evolving. And if you look at politics today, you look at how we're fighting each other, and we don't even know why, or for reasons that frankly are stupid. It's that's a showing of an evolved populace, right, but the opposite of that. That's a populace that's disintegrating.
Yes.
So here's the other part of this.
Okay.
It's the beginning of individual evolution. Oh my gosh. We see that as a populace, we admire accomplishment, but we are completely oblivious to evolution. So if the guy next to you has $1 billion and has accomplished XYZ, we put him on a pedestal or her on a pedestal. But if they are evolved, it's invisible.
Well, let's put it this way: that accomplishment of evolution is just brushed aside.
It's not appreciated. It's not seen. It's not seen. That's the most important part.
That's the part that is just unbelievable. And by the way, when you actually start gaining individual evolution, don't get me wrong, I love the idea of the Earth's evolution, but you can't have Earth's evolution without the individual. You've got to have the individual evolution. So join us.
If you're listening right now, this is a wake-up call for you. This is a siren song for you to say, to your soul, to say, hey, it's time.
Yes.
And so here's some things that we know about 2026. There's going to be a time when all the planets are in Aries.
Yeah.
So I'm not an astrologer, but I'm going to interpret that for you. It's a new beginning for individuals and for the Earth. Okay.
Correct.
So people say, "Oh my gosh, Aries is the planet of war. Aries is the planet of
new beginnings."
Yes.
And being able to see things from a perspective that not only matters to you, but matters to everyone around you.
Do it this way.
Well, have you thought about this? Do you know about that? In other words, it's going to bring people and put them back down with their feet on the ground.
Well, Aries, you live with it. I've got an Aries rising, sweetie. Have you seen me with my feet on the ground the last 6 months? But here's the point. Okay,
I've been pulling it back down. Come on. Yeah.
So it's this advice from astrologers: stay flexible, stay loose.
Yeah.
No, that's not right. Use this to jumpstart your personal evolution.
Correct.
Who am I? Where am I going? What is my purpose in life?
There you go.
And for all the, I'm going to use a term that I'm not going to explain fully, but if you're a starseed, if you know that you have a connection to other places in the universe, this is your wake-up call.
Oh.
2026 is your wake-up call.
And by the way, I really hope you hear that this is a wake-up call.
And the problem has been that we know about this concept, but we don't have the evolution to do anything about it. And I see that most star seeds have been, dark energy has accumulated around them and dumped on them issues and traumas and hurts and pain.
And kept them from the clarity, not only about the issues, but themselves, that needs to be gone. It needs to be put in the processor. It needs to go away.
The byproducts of personal evolution are explosion of intuition and a real perception of personal priorities and timings.
Correct.
Intuition is the GPS for intense planetary configurations. People say, oh, what's going to happen to me when all this stuff happens? Well, use your intuition, but and I'm the first to acknowledge that saying that without a caveat is misunderstood. Because most people don't know how to use their intuition. No. Most people have a dark energy attached think of your intuition as a pathway, and there's a lot of dark energy in that pathway. So getting clear information, one of the things that we found in the 25 years we've been doing this is that as we clear the negative energy attached to us away, our perceptions, our intuitions become clearer and clearer and more right on than they ever have before.
Correct. So, the bottom line is that Bashar, Abraham, and Seth, they talked about changing the future, and we talked about that in the last segment. But I want you to know, it rings in my ears quite often, because we need to understand, if I'm going to change the future and I've had a really bad day, what does that mean? And the bottom line is that that's when I have to put my feet on the ground. I have to remove negative energy, even in that moment, so I can remember I came here to make a difference. I came here to help you and the earth evolve. And no offense, what a responsibility. But come join me. Help me do this.
So we created the ecosystem approach to help you with that, because we see that the dark energy is attached to your essence. That's where it is. So it doesn't matter whether you do what you do out here about dark energy. You have to do it in the inside. And we show you how to do that. Accomplishment is not evolution. So we're already doing this kind of clearing work with the Alliance 2. We've talked about that.
Correct.
So after we've talked to Bashar, Abraham, and Seth, we started talking to, there's a whole list of famous people that we're talking to. We're not going to use that list right now, but it's a big deal. Personal evolution happens within the soul that we call essence. And the ecosystem approach is designed to help human beings individually as ecosystem, and that includes your essence
and understanding your own personal essence. And that's such a big deal, because we're not taught to do that at all.
If this is resonating with you right now, you have to connect with us. Go to our website, theecosystemapproach.org. It's all one word. It's a long word. The Ecosystem Approach and .org, O-R-G, and at that, you'll see Patricia's face on the front page. Go to where it says Google or YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel.
Correct.
If you're listening on Transformation Network channel, that's great. But we're going to be stepping away from them, and this won't appear anymore after the next show. So make sure you're signed up for our personal YouTube channel. That's really, really important. And sign up for our newsletter, because that's how you're going to find out what we're doing and what's happening with us and how you can evolve. That's going to be a big deal.
So, Jason, what is the summary of this segment?
Using planetary energies is a true game changer for astrology. Those energies can support a person's evolution in ways that are unknown today. Astrologers have missed the point in 2026 because it's not about preparing mentally for these new and radical aspects, but using the energy of free will to create your own reality
Yes.
and evolution for yourself and then the world. The advice I've heard from astrologers does not make sense from an evolved perspective. It does not embrace the changes and use them for the betterment of yourself and the world.
Okay.
It's time to apply the ecosystem approach for your personal evolution.
In the next segment, we're going to talk about using astrology for 2026 in the most empowered way.
Yeah.
No, it's not a prediction. We'll talk about how to create your own reality. That was the primary message that Bashar, Abraham, and Seth want to share here on Earth. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to talk about using astrology for 2026 in the most empowered way. No, it's not a prediction. We'll talk about how to create your own reality. That was the primary message that Bashar, Abraham, and Seth wanted to share here on Earth starting 60 years ago. So, Jason, what is the most empowered way to use astrology in 2026?
It's not about prediction.
Okay.
It's about creating your own reality.
Okay.
And, I've heard some crazy things over the years, like crazy. I understand it. We did a show a long time ago about superstition versus energy work.
Okay, yeah.
And people don't understand the difference,
No.
know. And a lot of times I see that people have used astrology in a superstitious way.
Oh.
Like my ex-husband was a certain sign, so I'm never gonna have that sign again, or
Oh, yeah.
that sort of thing. Or I remember hearing about a woman who wouldn't sign a contract. She was going to buy a house, but she wouldn't buy the house because Mercury was in retrograde.
Right. Right.
That's where you give the planets all the power, and you're left with none.
Exactly.
The truth is, we create our own reality,
Well-
and we do that. So if you have Mercury in retrograde, I've noticed I've been far more aware of these aspects because I'm paying attention to them more.
Okay.
And I see when Mercury is in retrograde, things happen, things break, that sort of thing.
Yes.
But I overcome it. I figure it out. And
And
sometimes
you ask your wife to clean things up.
Yep, that too. That's always the case. But that's when things spill. That's
Yeah.
well, that's Mercury
Same thing.
retrograde.
Same
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
So, but it's the predictions can make you feel powerless. Like this is a square aspect now that's going to be really heavy. For example, I think this is a really good example.
Okay.
You don't have any Saturn in your chart, in your natal chart.
Okay.
But there's a lot of Saturn aspects. There's 3 planets in Saturn
that
right
are going
now.
on right
Yes, it's a big deal.
now. Mm-hmm.
But that's not even what's important here. When we were channeling the planets, Saturn said to us, and I think this is so revealing.
Yes.
I feel misunderstood. I'm considered the bad planet, the parental one, the one that cracks the whip, the one that everybody hates, the one that everybody dreads.
Right.
But my real intention is to make people be authentic to who they are in their
Correct.
essence.
Correct.
And especially today, that's really hard to do. People go off in different tangents and they get consumed with their personal ego that's infected with dark energy.
Correct.
It doesn't work, know?
No. Well,
So you can tell what was happening to you. I mean, it was just
which time?
which time it was, she was struggling with her past, which has been very, her
Roared
family,
up a lot.
her family, the way she was raised in her family was abusive, and she's still, her family doesn't understand her. They don't see her. They don't see what she's doing. They don't appreciate what she's doing.
Not at all.
It's diminished. It's
Yes.
it's kind of pushed aside. Like, yeah, whatever. It's
Exactly.
it's
that's exactly
you know.
right.
And so by the way, that's one of the reasons when they came to us and said, we've been waiting for you, we were flabbergasted because, it's the same thing with my family. My mom lived with us for like 11 years.
11 years.
And she recently passed, but she didn't get what we were doing. She kind of
but she loved the energy
yes
of not only the house, but she loved the energy of both Jason and I. And
well, we have this video, and maybe we'll share it sometime. But
okay,
when at the end of the day, you activate life force energy for her, and she loved that just before
you could just
she went
tell
to bed. Yeah,
it would feel so good because she was 93 and she would be scrunched over. And when I activate that life force energy, she would just perk right up. She'd stand much taller. She was very small, but she would stand much taller. And she loved it.
You could see it in her eyes. Her eyes kind of became alive, and with dementia, you can see it's like a veil that goes over, like
yes, exactly,
and
exactly.
You do the life force. And by the way, that's another thing that we were shocked.
Okay,
but at the end, it was really hard. I mean, we both thought we weren't gonna survive this.
No,
and we did what we do, which is we cleared the negative energy. And then there was the more energy that we cleared, the dark energy that we cleared, the more that there was.
Came up. Yes, exactly.
And after she passed, we could see from the other side that she was getting acknowledgement for being one of the most
evolved people to walk through the door of death.
It's not evolved. I don't think that's the word.
She was
the lightest. Yes, the cleanest.
There you go.
That cleanliness showed,
right.
And it was a big, big deal. And it made us feel good, although we were exhausted from doing all that clearing because it didn't feel. And by the way, sometimes when you remove negative energy, dark energy doesn't want you to get credit for it. It wants to take that credit away.
Yes.
So,
so let's get back to our list here. Okay. So
how to make things happen.
That's what we were just talking about.
Yes.
For your situation you're in.
First thing, develop your intuition and evolution using the ecosystem approach. That's what we're all about. It's a byproduct of using the ecosystem approach.
Yes.
When you start removing it, that's what happens. We've been doing this for 25 years.
Yes.
And that's how Abraham saw us.
Yes.
Remove the energies that are blocking you as you go forward. We do that every day.
Yes, we do. But I want to say, most people say, well, what do you mean? I don't understand what you mean by removing the negative energies that are blocking you every single day and or that are blocking you. When you're having, I'm going to say it this way, a feeling, you're angry about something, or you're sad about something, or you have a memory that makes you sad. The best example is to take that memory and see it as a thing, so to speak, and then remove the negative energies of sadness around it. Take that sad energy and put it in the processor. And you still have that memory. But not the sadness.
Use your intuition for timing and deciding where to focus. Now, we do it every day in terms of, a lot of times we find out what the planetary aspects are
of the day
and the positions,
Yes.
We don't ask for the interpretations, we just ask for that. Because we've been talking to the planets, we know who they are, what they do, and then we practice by seeing how they affect us.
Well, and here's another one. I'm going to jump in and say, when there's Mars, which is Aries energy, when you're afraid of it, pretty much like I've been all of my life, because both my parents were Aries
and abusive
and very abusive. And so, and when I found out this one had an Aries rising, I was like, what did I do here? But the bottom line is that I thought, wait a minute, why don't I just look at this from another perspective and use the power of the Aries Mars energy to see what I need to see for me today so I can go forward and continue doing my purpose.
So
Did that make sense?
it did.
Good.
You know, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Planetary energy supercharge your activities.
Yes.
So if you're going to make a presentation or whatever, you know, one of the things that we use a lot is Patricia has lots of Venus energy. You can probably tell, but that Venus energy, you know, when she's out of balance, when a Libra is out of balance, you know, that's what I give her, you know, for my own self self-protection.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, to give her Venus energy.
Notice I'm laughing about it, but there's times where I've just, you know, didn't understand the value of my own energy.
Two more quick things, which is we use the Enneagram.
Mm-hmm.
From the very beginning, we use the Enneagram,
Yes.
and it's a way to start clearing. The Enneagram is a personality typing tool that talks about your compulsions, and those compulsions are all dark energy.
All of them.
All of it. All of it is dark energy. So
you start clearing those things, and the most amazing things. I'm sorry, one more story. I guess it's all about me today. When Jason said to me, you have jealousy is a number one thing in who you are and how you do your life. I'm like, I'm not jealous. Well, I had a ride home that enabled me to stop and look. Oh my gosh, there was jealousy everywhere. So I started removing it. And all of these things that I had been fighting with and judging myself and
jealous about,
it was the most amazing thing. I went, well, I'm wasting my time here. I don't need to waste my time. I've got things to do. And by the way, so do you.
One of the biggest things that we've seen is that often your Enneagram type, which is a better indication of how you act in the world,
yes,
than your astrology.
Well,
and that Enneagram type is because the negative energy is taken over. And frankly, we've seen so many people whose natal chart doesn't match up with their Enneagram type. And
exactly.
And that was for both of us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the 4 emotionality is not. She's got so much air, which is all intellectual, a lot of Mercury energy that is intellectual. It doesn't make sense for that emotionality. And we're just both just starting to come into our own. And, you know, I've always been a really nice guy, which is, you know, I've got Sagittarius sun, Aries rising, and a Scorpio moon. I am not a nice guy. And, you know, it's just, you know, that
actually he is everyone.
That mild mannered was not me at all, and I've really.
And by the way, I haven't seen a lot of mild in the last few years, but that's beside the point. But there's 2 more things that we need to talk about.
We really don't have
time. You need to know your natal chart.
Oh yeah,
It is that imprint. Well, when you remove the negative energies of the Enneagram, then your natal chart aspects start to rise and you can see them. You learn about you. So there's power in it. Utilize it, everyone. Jason, what is the summary of this segment?
The wake-up call for astrologers and energy workers is to refocus on creating reality as opposed to predicting it. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
That happens with personal evolution. And that will be easier in 2026 because the planetary energies will help you remove the opposing forces of dark energy, and you'll be more empowered as a result.
Exactly.
Personal evolution will lead to individual life purpose, but it won't happen without just by waiting for the changes to happen. Just by waiting for the energies to happen, you have to use your free will and intention to direct that energy for the benefit of your personal evolution.
Yes.
How changes will happen will depend on a critical mass of people focusing on their individual evolution using the ecosystem approach to create their reality in 2026.
In the next segment, we're going to talk about the next generation of astrology and what you must start doing today to create your own reality for 2026. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Network. Jason, can you summarize how the next generation of astrology is going to be for all of us?
It's time, and this isn't a given. It's up to you listening right now if this is what you want. But it's time to move from prediction to empowerment.
Yes.
2026 is a year of empowerment, and that's by understanding the planetary energies. Now we did a whole series of shows about planetary energies.
Right.
We're going to do some more about that.
Yeah.
Make sure you're connected with us. It's so important. Go to our website, theecosystemapproach.org. Sign up for our newsletter. There's a place down on the bottom that says newsletter. And at the top, make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. It's not because it helps us. Well, we appreciate that, but mostly you want to be connected to this. This is happening, and this is going to be a big deal. And Alliance 2 is just going crazy with how can we connect from the other side, people that are famous and dead. Excuse me for being so blunt. They can reconnect with people here on Earth.
Yes.
And use what they've learned and then clear them so they can see the dark energy with clarity and help others that are still here on Earth to make it better
for them.
Be connected with us. We're gonna start an alliance that includes the people here on Earth, and that's you. So make sure you've done that. But so how do you go from prediction to empowerment? And that's basically evolution, and that's using the ecosystem approach.
Exactly.
We're not going to tell you all, it's not that complicated. No. If you were a kid and we started training you in the ecosystem approach, it would seem very, very simple.
Yes.
Little kids could do it. The problem with implementing this is that there's been so much programming, training you to be a machine that is not natural to the way you are. That's why we use the term the ecosystem approach.
Correct.
Because we see you as an ecosystem that includes your essence, which is an energy. It's in the non-physical dimension.
Correct.
So let's talk about how to clear real quick.
Okay.
And
go ahead. Jason, tell us how to do the clearing.
So you can sit, stand. You don't have to be in a reverent position. This isn't a prayer. You're not showing respect. You're basically talking to yourself and removing that negative energy and casting it out.
I've never said this before, but I think it every single time. That reverent position that Jason is saying you don't need. The bottom line is who you're really showing respect to is you.
Yes.
And when you begin to authentically show respect to you, your essence, turns that in kind to help you start to evolve.
We've always seen the truth of the Creator, God.
Yes.
But the idea, what's so clear to us is that He, for convenience of language, has given us the power.
Yes.
To create our own reality.
He's given it to all of us. Don't think it's just me and Jason or
if you're a certain religion or
anything. It's not that at all. That's all been a programming. The bottom line is that all of us have the ability. We actually come here to evolve. And when you respect yourself enough, even just a little bit, and you start removing negative energy, that little bit of respect that you deserve gets bigger and bigger. It doesn't become arrogance. It doesn't become all of that. What happens is you become who you were intended to be in the first place.
So, we use a clearing process. We use some simple words.
Yes.
If you want to know what they are, make sure you're signed up for our newsletter, the Ecosystem Approach.
Yes.
Just go on the bottom, and all we ask for is your email address.
Exactly.
So here we go.
Okay, so Jason, tell everyone how to do the clearing.
We did that. And we're going to do the first one. Okay. I direct all my resources in all dimensions to eliminate the veils and illusions, so I can see, even if I don't completely understand it at all, that this year is the time for my personal evolution, and I need to be part of this alliance here on Earth.
Yes.
Take a breath.
Take a breath. I want you to, in your mind's eye, go all the way to the tips of your toes, pick up that negative energy that's blocking you, those veils and illusions, and you're going to pick it up, and then you're going to throw it in the processor. I, by the way, see negative energy that goes easier to the left than it does the right. So understand that I had to learn to do things too. So can you. Take one more breath on that. Clean out that body. Now, we're going to do one more thing here, and we're going to do this. We're going to activate life force. Life force is the most powerful energy that we have access to. And so repeat after me and come on down, so to speak. So it goes like this. I direct all my resources in all dimensions to activate life force energy so I can use life force energy for me, so I can trust that I can evolve using my free will and intention and by following the ecosystem approach. Starting right now, what you're going to do is you're going to pull in this life force energy through the top of your head. You're going to let it go all the way to the tips of your toes, meaning through your body to the tips of your toes. You're going to ask it to stop there and turn around. You're going to ask it to come back up your body and pick up more negative energy, and you're going to throw it into the processor. This, by the way, you start easy, do it every day. Join us. And by the way, tell a friend, bring a friend, and get a clearing buddy. This is one of the most incredible things I personally have ever done. And I was talking to a client and we both agreed, I'm going to do this every day forever.
You know, I've had a lot of clients talk to me about the political situation in the country.
Yes.
All the angst, all the unhappiness, all the pain, whether it's economic pain, whether it's physical pain,
Yes.
the need for healing, the need for real healing.
Yes.
And we've talked about, we've had shows we did about the personal solar panel.
Yes.
Where you have
That's good.
Regeneration, true regeneration. You know, the ecosystem approach is regenerative, just like regenerative farming, where you build the soil, where the plants just take over, and the natural world, the natural energies just continue to help propagate plants and food and that sort of thing.
So you can
people can do that, should do the same thing. Make sure you're connected to us.
Yes.
Make sure you're signed up for that newsletter. If you're still there, if you're still listening right now, that means that there's some part of you that is saying, that's just come alive.
Yes.
That's trying to get you to say, okay, this is time.
Yes.
Go subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes.
You go to our website, theecosystemapproach.org, go to the top where it says Google or YouTube, and subscribe to our channel.
Right.
And then at the bottom where it says newsletter, just give us your name and your email address.
Correct. So, and we will connect one more time on Transformation Network. But I want you to all come and join our last show with them. We've been very grateful to all of the people we have worked with at Transformation Network. So, we'll do that in a couple of weeks at 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern time. So this is Transformation Network, and you're listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia.
Living like an ecosystem is the key to a better life for you.
Thank you for listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia. I'm Patricia. Tune in every week as we discuss practical ways to apply the ecosystem approach and develop your potential to live your life on your terms. For more information, visit our website at theecosystemapproach.org.